you didn't notice from how tired we all looked in last week's videos, E3 2014 has just finished. If you're not familiar with the show, it's an opportunity for games publishers to show off their upcoming releases and for us to get either excited or sarcastic as appropriate. But not every game turns up at E3. Some titles that are already in full production are suspiciously absent, which makes us wonder what exactly they're hiding. Here are 6 games that should have been at E3, but weren't. And before you click away, no, this isn't just a replay of EA's press conference. Couldn't resist. One of the big games announced around the launch of Xbox One over a year ago, Quantum Break, the ambitious video game and television crossover project, should really have been a significant part of Microsoft's E3 press conference, and probably playable on the show floor. Instead, it didn't even feature. There's a little more to the story than it just being swept under the rug though. Just before E3, Microsoft announced, via a lip-syncing Sam Lake, that we'll see more at Gamescom in August.
I'm very excited to tell you that we'll be presenting Quantum Break's time-amplified action gameplay for the first time ever in August at Gamescom.
There is no way you are going to be America's next drag superstar with that performance, Sam. At least we've got to look at what actual gameplay looks like. Gameplay that seems to involve using time powers to kick people in the face. Sold. Hard as it may be to believe, the Mad Max game actually properly exists. While the only things released so far have been pre-rendered teasers and choppy trailers rather than unmolested gameplay, we've personally seen the damned thing running for 20 whole minutes last year at E3, and it looks great. Seriously, this is definitely an actual game. For some reason, the bros at Warner didn't put the game in their suitcase when they were packing for Los Angeles this year. Hopefully it's not because the game is turning out to be more Bad Max than Mad Max. Forget those recent Just Cause 3 rumours though. If Avalanche can't even get Max dressed and sober for an E3 appearance, then what chance does Rico have of hitting that supposed June 2015 release date? If you're anything like us, you'll have spent most of last week swooning over how pretty Assassin's Creed Unity is, but there's another Assassin's Creed game, the freakish twin that Ubisoft keeps locked in the attic. That'll be the Xbox 360 and PS3 version, which, even after E3, remains unrevealed. I mean, you didn't think Assassin's Creed was going to look this smoking hot on your 360, did you? Assassin's Creed Comet, as its apparently codename, is a completely different game. Rumour has it it's a maritime adventure set in the mid-18th century, suggesting a more direct sequel to Black Flag. Which would make sense, because Black Flag was great. Of course, we don't know how much truth there is to these rumours because even though the game will be out in a matter of months, Ubisoft declined to parade it in front of us. Presumably that's because they wanted to avoid it being at all confused with their drop-dead gorgeous next-gen offering. One thing is for sure, those die-hard AC fans who absolutely have to hoover up every single atom of storyline from the series are going to have a very expensive, very busy end to the year. Technically, this sort of stuck its head over the parapet during the first day of E3 with a surprise pre-rendered teaser of a cyber demon that features super fan-pleasing door noises. But savour that door sound because that's your lot, with more teased for QuakeCon next month. Given the rumours that this new Doom has been rebooted, re-rebooted and re-re-rebooted over the course of its troubled development, we're fascinated to see the thing in action, even if it turns out to be another Duke Nukem Forever. Especially if it turns out to be another Duke Nukem Forever. Still not long to wait, and if you bought Wolfenstein you've been promised beta access as well, presumably later this year. If it's very nearly playable, that's all the more reason it should have put in a proper E3 appearance. Telltale announced their officially licensed Game of Thrones game at the Spike VGX back in December. Fast forward 6 months and E3 begins just as Season 4 of Game of Thrones is reaching fever pitch. You know, with getting killed and getting his Anyway, literally everyone is talking about the TV show and yet there's no E3 announcement, no gameplay. For shame. Obviously Telltale are busy with The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us, but with the TV show running at such a pace that every character they put in the game could well be dead by the time it's released, they could do with hurrying up a little. After all, winter is coming. I just mean, winter's a good time to release the game, you know, Christmas and all that. You might not even be aware that there's another Hitman game on the way. In a low-key announcement befitting of a stealthy assassin, IO Interactive chucked a small note up on their Hitman.com blog back in January saying that yes, everyone's favourite murderous cosplaying slaphead will be back on new-gen consoles soon. But while a grand E3 debut was no doubt in the original plan, another blog post right at the end of May revealed that the game would miss the convention. By way of apology, IO offered up this piece of concept art and a promise that after Hitman Absolution was criticised for its linearity, the next game will shift back to large, expansive environments. This building alone will be bigger than any of the areas in the previous game. Alright IO, we'll let you standing us up slide this time. So there you have it, 6 games we reckon should have been at E3 last week, but failed to make the show. But what games were you waiting for that stayed in stealth mode? Let us know in the comments and do subscribe for more info on these AWOL games as soon as we have it. See you next time on Outside Xbox.